Well, I've often said on this channel that the fatal flaw in wokeism is that it's fundamentally unstable. And why? Well, it's unstable because the currency of the realm is oppression. And so everybody has to be oppressed somehow all the time. And they're constantly watching everybody around them just in case they say or do something that could be interpreted as oppression. And here's a great example of how this is all just so dysfunctional. Green Party interim leader feels hurt and isolated after being accidentally misgendered. Yeah, and this is inevitable. This sort of thing is inevitable because there's no organization or individual that can live up to the insane standards that they set. Remember this?
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus.
Name,
Point
chapter,
of personal
pronoun.
privilege. Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Okay.
Oh, you socialists. You so crazy, as well as being all exactly the same. Says here, the Green Party of Canada kicked off their leadership contest with a virtual public media event. When interim leader Anita Kuttner logged in to join the event via Zoom, Kuttner was shocked to discover that she-elle had been added beside Kuttner's name. Days later, Kuttner, who identifies as non-binary and transgender, released a statement on the matter, decrying it as just one example of a systemic issue within the party. Well, that's it. They're far right. They're far right. They're transphobic. The first thing I would do is have them banned off all social media. And I'm sure CBC's on top of this now. I'm sure it's full of articles about how the Green Party are far-right transphobe extremists, right? So I searched for Anita Kuttner on the CBC website, and no. So for some reason, they're not talking about this horrific transphobia in the Green Party. And the thing is, you know that if a barista at Starbucks had misgendered this person, they would be all over it. But because this is happening in the Green Party, for some reason, they're not really interested in talking about it. Interesting. Anyway, what's this statement from Kuttner here? It's on Saturday, September 3rd, at a public media event kicking off the Green Party of Canada's leadership contest. The wrong pronouns were presented beside my name in a way that I could not change myself. I acknowledge that mistakes can happen and the need to learn from them. What happened here impacted me much more than a slip of the tongue. It made me feel hurt and isolated at a moment that should have been filled with inspiration and anticipation. So a statement like this should immediately disqualify you from being leader of anything. It was a simple mistake. Somebody made a mistake. And frankly, I think this is so far from the biggest problem that the Green Party has that if you don't realize that, you really shouldn't be interim leader. Let's see, Kuttner went on to thank those who reached out to offer their support following the harrowing incident, before decrying it as reflective of a larger pattern of behaviors that a few in the party are perpetuating. Again, you can never win. Once you go woke, it's just going to be dysfunction from top to bottom, permanently, forever. You can't win, you can never be good enough. There's always going to be something, because oppression is the lifeblood of far leftist movements. They need it. Without it, they can't survive. I mean, without it, there's no point in them existing, so they have to find it, even if it causes their own political parties, like the Green Party, to humiliate themselves publicly. Here's what journalist Jonathan Kay had to say about it. Canadian progressive politics in a nutshell. Green Party leader, who Wikipedia tells us identifies as non-binary, transgender, and pansexual, and uses they, them, and he, him pronouns, is misgendered by an electronic caption, and responds to it by denouncing, quote, this system of oppression. To which Anita Kuttner responded, apparently misgendering isn't oppression. Someone should tell the Supreme Court of Canada. Yeah, and sadly, she's correct. Canadian court rules misgendering is a human rights violation. I would say that compelled speech is a human rights violation, obviously. But this is Canada. And then let's have some fun. Help me raise $1 for each of his 68,000 followers to give anti-oppression a larger platform than him. Again, because somebody accidentally wrote in the wrong pronouns for this person, which a biologist might argue are the right pronouns. And Jonathan K. also said this, reads exactly like satire. Imagine how somebody with any kind of real problem would respond to these words. But this is the fantasy land that exists in Canada now. Yeah, and I would say that in a sane world, these are not strong leadership qualities. When things like this happen, Kuttner said, referring to the misgendering, people need to see those in leadership positions take some accountability, acknowledge how they have added to this system of oppression, and what they must do to break the cycle. I would just say disband the Green Party, end it. It's beyond redemption, in my opinion. It's just simply too oppressive. In moments like these, I wonder, Kuttner added, how can I ensure other people's safety if I can't even ensure my own? What did Jonathan K. say again? Reads exactly like satire. Imagine how somebody with any kind of real problem would respond to these words. Well, unfortunately, they'd probably be afraid to say what they really think, because it's Justin Trudeau's Canada. And that brings us to the new Conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, who will hopefully be able to displace Trudeau as Prime Minister of Canada. And if he does, he's got his work cut out for him. I can tell you that much. Anyway, please subscribe, like, and share. Sharing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.